everyone, welcome back to your course on Introduction to Data Structures and Algorithms. The topic for today's discussion is basic input and output in C++. So whenever you're writing any program in C++, you obviously need to give an input to the program, and finally what you get as a result is your output. Right? So let us see how can we actually give our program the input, and finally how can we print our output on our screen. So before understanding how to implement and use input and output in C++, let us see what input and output basically is. So when you talk about input, if bytes flow from a device like a printer, display screen, or a network connection, etc., into main memory, this is called an input. So any form of conversation, as we can say, that happens between user to the computer is known as input. And on the other hand, output is if bytes flow from the main memory to a device like a printer, display screen, or a network connection, etc., then it is known as an output operation. So whenever computer converses with the user, in that case it is known as an output. So taking the example of a printer, what you give input to the printer is basically what you need to print. The output that you get is that printed document in the form of physical, tangible paper. So that is what input and output is. Now, talking about C++, C++ comes with certain libraries that provide us with ways for performing input and output functions, right? And also in C++, input and output functions are performed in the form of streams. What are streams? Streams are nothing but mere sequence of bytes. So for input and output, there are two streams. Firstly, the input stream, and second, the output stream. Now in input stream, this is a type of stream where the bytes flow from a device such as a keyboard onto the main memory. Whereas in case of output stream, the bytes flow in opposite direction, that is from the main memory to the device such as the display screen. Right? Now moving on to C++ header files that we use for input and output. We already discussed in the previous slide that C++ provides us with certain libraries that provide us the functions for input and output. So there are three major libraries which have functions within them that perform basic input and output tasks, right? So the three are IOStream, IOManip, and FStream, right? So IOStream, it is basically short for input. I stands for input, O stands for output, and stream. So input output stream or IOStream, right? It has functions with definitions for objects like cin, cout, cerr, cerr, right? All of these commands we will cover in the next slide. So it contains definitions to certain objects like these. IOManip stands for input, I for input, O for output, and manip is nothing but short for manipulators, right? So input output manipulator is a library that contains functions that we can use it for the manipulation of streams. So how can we manipulate streams? And it contains definitions of set W, set precision, and others, right? Fstream is a header file that is used for describing the file stream. File stream is basically that it handles all of the data that can be fed to the file as input or that can be written into a file as the output. right? So coming to the major keywords used in C++, keywords for input in C++. Cout and cin. Even a beginner level programmer knows the keywords cout and cin, and that they are used for printing outputs and taking inputs respectively, right? So these are the two very basic commands, and in fact all of these four are included in the IOStream library. So coming first to cout, this is for output. This is an output command, right? It is used with the operator. This is known as the insertion operator. So when you're writing any command which you need to output, say that you need to output hello world on your screen, you write cout followed by this insertion operator, and if within double quotes you enclose your text which is hello world, and when you run this line of code, what you get is hello world printed on your screen. So cout is the basic keyword or command, as we can say, that we use for output. Moving on to cin. Cin is a standard input stream. It is usually used to input data, and it is used with this operator. This is known as the extraction operator, right? Cout was being used with the insertion operator. This is known as the insertion operator. So do remember the names of all these operators, because these are also asked in certain exams, and most people do not know it because they don't pay attention to certain small details. So please remember the names of these two operators that are used with input and output commands. So if you want to input any data, you use cin followed by this. So for example, that you have asked the user to input a number, right? And you have initialized it as int n initially. What you can do to take this number as the input will be cin followed by the extraction operator, and you put an n here. So whatever value is entered by the user on the screen, say 10, that will be the value of n which will be inputted to our program, and will further be used for other computations to be performed. Moving on to C error command. CERR is unbuffered standard error stream, right? Cin was standard input stream, cout was standard output stream, C error is standard error stream but which is unbuffered, right? So what is a buffer? We will understand it very soon. But before moving on, C++ CRR command is used to output the errors. What it does is outputs errors, right? So, and this is also a part of the IOStream library. This command is basically used when you have to display error message immediately. And why is it able to do it? Because it is unbuffered. That is, it does not contain any buffer to store that message. Now, talking in terms of computer science, buffer is only a region in our physical memory storage that stores data temporarily, right? So when we say that our CR command is unbuffered standard error stream, this means that the error message is not stored anywhere, it is directly displayed on the screen. However, in case of C log stands for buffered standard error stream, right? And this has the same functionality as CRR. It is used to display errors, but it is stored firstly in a buffer, stored in a buffer, and after that it is displayed. Right, so C error and C log have the same functionality, that is to display errors, just that C error command is unbuffered while C log is buffered, right? So I hope all of these keywords are clear to you, and this is how we actually do basic input and output in C++. You will learn further when you actually implement C++ programs by yourself, and you will understand the various methods in which you can input data. Say you want to input not just one data but a set of data, how will you do that? But the basic commands that you used remain the same, and these are the three libraries that are basically involved in C++. So thank you very much. See you in the next session.